Hey everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of New York City, Season 13, Episode 11, The Witching Hour. Well, much to my chagrin, we are of course picking up exactly where we left off last week, with Sonia drunk on water pills and fighting with Bershan, who may or may not be drunk herself. Unclear whether Bershan is also on water pills. The Chiron tells us it's 11:30 p.m. and Sonia says to Leah, "I'm not a doormat and I swear I will kill Ramona for bringing this girl into our group." Leah, you're a smart bitch. Why would Ramona bring this girl into our group? Ramona is now talking to Bershan. It doesn't do any good to push her buttons. The others decide to leave Ramona and Bershan in the library. Luann's like, obviously she's not clicking with this group, so let her reel her in. Ramona, now to Bershan, talking about Sonia, she said, she's broken, man. And we're nervous about her. We don't want her to go off the edge. Meanwhile, Leah says goodnight to everyone, and she is going off to free bleed in her room. Haven't those rooms been through enough? If I ever stay at the Hawthorne Hotel, I am insisting that they deep clean the rooms that the housewives have been in. I mean, the least Leah could do is free bleed in Ramona's room. That room has already been violated. Ramona says to Bershan, I'm telling you, Sonia's not as strong as you and I. And I'm telling you as a woman who's a warrior, who I know supports other women. Bershan, I support other women, but it's like, oh my God, do we have to defend her? The clown move. Meanwhile, Leah asks the others, do you want to come to my room? And Sonia goes, yeah, I do. Ew. To watch her free bleed? Side note, to be fair, I don't even know what free bleeding is, but I have a guess and I'm thinking I don't need to be around it. Cut back to Ramona. This is my best friend for like 30 years. I can't say, oh, I don't want to be with you because you're having a breakdown. In Ramona's confessional, she said, Bershan has a point. As an outsider looking in, why are you handling her with kid gloves? This is not helping her. I agree, but you know what? She's our friend from a long time, so let us figure it out. Oh, okay, so it looks like Luann and Ebony took a hard pass on watching the free bleed because they say goodnight and head to their rooms. Luann's like, they're in the elevator together. Luann's like, what a crazy night. And Ebony goes, well, you know what? Ramona brought her. Ramona can take care of her. Side note, Ramona didn't actually bring her. I mean, Ramona introduced Bershan to the group, but Leah was getting along great with her, and Leah invited her to Salem. Meanwhile, still in the library, Bershan says to Ramona, I think you needed a fresh pair of eyes. You know, maybe I'm just a fresh pair of eyes for you guys. And I tell it like it is. Maybe that's it. And Ramona, what? You called it like you saw it. Bershan, that's all. Yeah. I called it like I saw it. And she's like, all right, girl, see ya mañana. Get some rest. We have a big day tomorrow. Okay, so it is the next morning. It's 10:48 a.m. Sonia is still out like a light. Ramona's working out with bottles of wine or champagne because she did not bring her free weights. Ebony's getting her hair and makeup done by her glam person. Leah is sitting up in bed and she calls Luann on the phone. And she said, so I don't know if you heard or not, but Sonia and Bershan got into a physical altercation last night. Yeah. Why does all the good stuff happen when it's not filmed? Or like, you know what I mean? Like, if last week was a to be continued, why didn't we get to see the fight happen? Anyway, Luann goes, oh no, I thought everyone went to bed. And Leah goes, no, because Bershan came to my room to get a melatonin from me. And Sonia was in my room when she came in to get it. And they were both drunk. And now we see footage of the night before. Bershan's like, you can't keep me in a box. Sonia gets mad because Bershan says she's drunk. And Sonia's like, what did you call me? Drunk. Because you are. Leah's telling Luann now, Sonia kept saying, I'm a real person. Flashback, Sonia, using her Wells Fargo voice. Don't you come into my life in 10 seconds and tell me who I am, Bershan. Bershan says, get your hand off my face. Then they were both yelling at each other, pointing at each other's faces like an inch from each other. Leah now gets in the middle of them to break them up whilst free bleeding, people. So, don't ever let anyone tell you that women are the weaker sex, all right? Leah tells Luann, I had to get in the middle of it and I was afraid of my nose. Flashback. Leah, please, I have my nose job. Please be careful. Then you hear the producer outside go, open the door. So Leah's got like one hand up between Bershan and Sonia, and she's like reaching with the other hand for the doorknob to open the door, let the producer in. And so these guys come in and they're right away breaking things up. All bets are off. Fourth wall broken. We're seeing all the producers and crew. Sonia's yelling at them, don't you come in here. Side note, Leah has a very severely damaged charging cord. Casualty of the melee? Unclear. One of the crew is now pulling Sonia outside, or attempting to anyway. Then cut to Leah on the phone with Luann, and she goes, and then Sonia broke the fire extinguisher glass. Luann goes, oh my God. Now we do see it, but it happens very fast, and I couldn't see if she punched her hand through it. I guess Leah had said later that she used her purse, like she hit it with her purse and broke the glass. I mean, either way, not good, but like she didn't injure herself. Then Leah and Luann both agree that Bershan does not have a right to call Sonia out as being a drunk. She just met her. She shouldn't be sticking her nose into business that's not hers. Luann goes, I mean, for a life coach, she's pretty f***ed up. Meanwhile, in her room, Bershan is doing jumping jacks and reciting her daily affirmations. She's like jogging, exercising in place. Bershan, you are amazing. Bershan, you are beautiful. You support, you inspire, you empower women. So Luann says she's going to come up to Leah's room after she gets some coffee. We check in with Sonia, who's awake-ish. She tells us that she needs coffee because her face isn't awake yet. So Luann comes into Leah's room now. Leah's dressed, her glam lady is there. So I'm not sure how much time has elapsed here, but Luann walks in and Leah goes, dude. Luann, dude. Leah, dude. Luann, so Bershan set her off. Now Ramona knocks on the door. She comes into Leah's room, and Leah fills her in on the events of the night before. Their version is very slanted against Bershan, though, I must say. And Ramona said, I told her not to aggravate Sonia. Luann, it's your fault for inviting her. And Ramona goes, I didn't, Leah did. Yes, thank you. Leah was like vibing with her right away. And then she said, so I invited her to Salem or whatever. I mean, Bravo probably did. I don't know how those things work. So Luann said, not only that, you gave her the impression that we were all wild and crazy and, hanging from the chandeliers. Seriously, though, you gave her all these expectations of us. And now we have to fill the expectations? So anyway, Luann, she's going to go get dressed. She tells Ramona, you've got to fix this or Bershan goes. And Ramona's like, all right, I'll call her. Luann, tell her she has to approach all of us to start this day off on the right foot. Ramona's like, all right. So Luann leaves to go get dressed. And Ramona wonders if they can get Sonia that medicine that makes you vomit if you drink. Leah goes, yeah, Antabuse. I said to Sonia yesterday, do you feel like you need a soft drink? Like, do you ever feel like you have a problem with alcohol? And she said, no, I don't drink in the morning. She's like making all these excuses. So Ramona's going, she does. She drinks all the time. Leah's starting to feel like it would be irresponsible of them to not talk to Sonia about it. And Ramona goes, okay, maybe you, me, and Luann should talk to her. So they call Luann with their idea to, sit Sonia down and have a talk with her about the drinking. And Luann's like, I'm down for that. In Leah's confessional, she said, I would want someone to talk to me if I was punching glass. I mean, it's not like she's getting drunk and having fun. So now we see it's 11:30 a.m. and Ramona knocks on Bershan's door. Side note, Bershan is in room 420, so you'd think she'd be a little bit more chill. Ramona looks around Bershan's completely messy room and she's like, let's go back to my room and talk. You know it's bad if you would rather be in the poop room. In Bershan's confessional, she goes, uh-oh. I feel like I, have to grab my book bag and I'm marching down the hall to see the principal and get in trouble. So Ramona asks Bershan for her version of what happened the night before. She, of course, has to interrupt to remind her that I told you not to push her buttons. Bershan tells her that Sonia was getting loud and getting in my face. And, basically that Sonia took it too far. She does say that she wants to apologize to all the other women because she realizes she's new to them. And when she said grandmas, she didn't mean to insult them. And Ramona goes, I know. I knew what you meant. It's just an expression. And Bershan said, yeah, I would say that to my girlfriends. Like, come on, get off the couch. Let's go out. Stop being a grandma. But, Bershan said, I get that not everyone expresses themselves in the same way. You and I got along so great over the summer, Ramona, that anything I said, you got me. Ramona, yeah. It was easy breezy. And Bershan agrees and says that, I let my boundaries down thinking that they were all just like an extension of you. But everybody's a different person. So that worked out well for Ramona because Bershan already wanted to apologize to everybody. Now we check back with Leah and she calls Ebony to fill her in on what happened the night before. Ebony is shocked, of course. She admits that she doesn't know Bershan or Sonia very well, but, come on, we're classy ladies. Oh, sweetie. I know you don't know them very well, but have you never watched this show before? With a smart woman like Ebony, I would think that would be like a given. That you're going to do some thorough research before you start, tackling an assignment like being on the Housewives show. Classy ladies, let's just say this is not the first time that we've seen a close-up of Ramona's poop. So Ebony's wondering what the vibe is going to be with Bershan that day. And Lee goes, I'm not even thinking about that because me, Luann, and Ramona are going to talk to Sonia about her drinking. Now Ramona knocks on Sonia's door. Sonia is in room 312, which, fun fact, is the main area code for Chicago, Illinois. Sonia says she just woke up, so I'm not sure with the order of how all this is happening. Maybe we're seeing things out of order because she was already up and having coffee before. Anyway, in Sonia's confessional, she said, I have a taste for luxury, but if all that's being served is cheap red wine, I'm drinking it. So I'm guessing that is what she's blaming this on. The fact that she had wine instead of her clear spirits. She says to Ramona, what a loser night. I wanted to have a fun night, party, dancing, and we ended up with cheap wine. And Bershan. We cut to Leah giving Ebony the rundown of what they're going to do that day. They're going shopping and have lunch and come back to the hotel. And then later they're going to a haunted restaurant to have a seance. So cocktails first, then the seance, and then they'll have dinner. Ebony says she hopes that she can connect to Katie and asks Leah if she wants to connect to her grandmother, but Leah gets all verklempt and she can't even talk about it. Okay, so everyone is ready for shopping. There was a little awkward encounter at the elevators where Ramona and Sonia ran into Bershan, who was heading back up to her room because she forgot her wallet. And, no interaction between Sonia and Bershan. Then they head onto the bus, and Leah says it's a 40-minute drive. In Luann's confessional, seriously, is Luann working out new material for the cabaret show in her confessionals? Because it seems like every confessional is like a little stand-up routine. She's like, 40 minutes? It's going to feel like purgatory. And I don't know who's going to heaven and who's going to hell. Hey-o! Thanks, everyone. The ride seems fun. It is so quiet. You can hear Luann crinkling open a package of gum or candy or something. And finally, Leah says, look, there are things that need to be said, but I just can't do it right now. So could we just have a nice ride up? And everyone agrees to just have a quiet ride up. So they all get on their phones, look out the window. No one's really talking. Okay, it's 1 p.m. and they are heading into a little restaurant. I don't know if they went shopping already. We never saw that. And they're sitting at the bar that's shaped like a boat. So it's three on one side, 3 on the other. And the restaurant is called the Black Cow. So the boat seems a little out of place to me. Everyone's deciding what they want to eat. Someone says they want meat. I think it was Ramona. They're looking at the menu and Ramona goes, "Oh, they have a cow burger." So, a burger? Bershan goes, "Before we eat, I just have something I want to say to everybody because I'm a little emotional. I made this familiar and it's not familiar." And she is genuinely, like tears are coming down her face. And Luann goes, "Oh, don't cry, hon." Ebony gets up and goes to hug her. Bershan's like, "I don't have boundaries, and I acted like I knew you guys for 30 years. And I don't. With my friends, we say things like, come on, stop acting like a grandma all the time. And it's just like it's meant to be funny and definitely didn't mean to hurt anyone's feelings." And then she goes around and like says everybody's name, and she said, "I apologize." And then she said, "And especially Sonia. I may not remember everything I said. I'm just being honest." And Leah goes, "Do either of you remember?" And Bershan said, "But on the bus, I had a real connection with you." And Sonia goes, "You betrayed my trust because we did have a good connection. You listened to me, you heard me." Then we get a flashback to Sonia, poor Bershan, talking her ear off again about all the same things. This was about the townhouse. Now, Ramona stops a passing waiter to bring some tissues for Bershan, and Sonia goes, "Shut the f*** up, Ramona. Did I interrupt when you were talking?" Ramona's like, in her confessional, Ramona said, "Sonia's so angry, snapping at me like a turtle, and not turtle time." Sonia's like, "And you called me a clown, Bershan, and I take pride in being funny, so that was okay. But then the way you mimicked me, that hurt my feelings." Bershan, "I take full responsibility because I am a grown woman. I should not have done that." And she gets up to hug her, and they hug. And that's how it's done, people. I never thought Bershan would be able to get herself out of the situation of the night before. Certainly not as easily as she did. But it was quick and efficient, and she apologized. She was sincere. She showed remorse. She was the bigger person. She could have insisted that Sonia apologize to her too. And because she was the way she was, it's impossible for people not to accept her apology. What you don't do is double down on bad behavior, which seems to be what everybody likes to do these days. Now, Sonia is another story, and hopefully she'll be dealt with when her friends, have a talk with her. Okay, now it's 6:30, and the ladies are getting ready for their haunted dinner seance. Leah's the first one down to the lobby, and her jacket, guys, I want to laugh, but I am so grateful to people who push the boundaries with fashion because I love to be surprised by something I've never seen before. It's interesting, it's cool, it wakes up your brain. But admittedly, my first reaction was to laugh because Leah's jacket, it's cropped short, but it has a floor-length panel of buttons down the front. So, the jacket might only be able to have, 3 or 4 buttons. There's 20 more buttons that head on down to the floor. And it's absurd and wonderful all at the same time. I do love her white dress and the Gucci tights, though. So the others come down now, and Leah is saying that her stomach is upset because of the coffee. I'm not sure if that's what it is, though. Someone thinks she's nervous about talking to the dead, but I think it's because she knows they're going to confront Sonia, and I think she's nervous about that. I don't know. We'll see. Sonia tells us that she talks to the other side all the time, so it's no biggie for her. Ebony says she's a little bit freaked out. Luann tells us that she's had her fortune told and her cards read, but she's never been to a real seance before. Leah says she's not sure she believes in it, but she just wants it to be a fun night. So they all get there, and right away, Bershan and Sonia order espresso martinis. In Luann's confessional, "That's what we need. Espresso martinis. Zoom and then boom." Oh, she's got a million of them, people. Don't forget to tip your servers. So anyway, Luann asks Ramona, "What are we going to do about Sonia? She just ordered a martini." Ramona, "Oh, I think I just lost my earring." She's such a good listener. Anyway, she does say, oh, so maybe we should pull her aside now. Luann's like, I don't know, let's figure it out with Leah. So Ramona finds Leah and tells her that Sonia just ordered a martini and that she thinks that they should talk to her now before it's too late. So Leah, Ramona, and Luann discuss how they're going to approach Sonia, and they figure out a game plan. Luann and Ramona are all kind of putting it on Leah just to take the lead, because Leah goes, okay, well, how do you want to start this? And Luann goes, remember, I just said I was going to be there to encourage her and, tell her what happened to me. I got arrested for much less. I mean, she broke a fire extinguisher. Whoa, hold on, time out. You were found in someone else's hotel room, you slipped out of handcuffs, and you threatened a police officer's life. Sonia broke the glass on the box a fire extinguisher is in. In what world is that worse? And Ramona's trying to deflect to Leah too, because she's like, well, you were there when you saw her, do that thing. So it's all very rushed because, they want to get her before she's drinking too much. And, they didn't plan it out very well. Leah is very nervous about it. So Ramona goes and she takes Sonia's drink and hides it from her. And now she's trying to get Sonia to come in the other room with her where Leah and Luann are waiting. Sonia, not in the mood, folks. She is not in the mood. If it were me, I would abort right now. I'd be like, all right, we're going to have another bad night with her, but this is not the time. Because she's already slightly confrontational with Ramona. Sonia's like, what do you want? You took my drink, bitch. You think I wasn't going to notice that? What am I, stupid? She turns back to Bershan to finish her conversation, which is never-ending talking. Finally, she goes, what do you want? And Ebony's like, just go with her and look at what the thing. Yeah, go look at the thing. Ebony knows what's up because they had already asked her to keep Bershan busy while they're talking to Sonia. So she knows what they're trying to do. And finally, she goes into the other room and she's sitting down with the three. And Leah said, first of all, I want you to know that this is not coming from a place of judgment at all. Okay? Sonia goes, what? Okay, Leah, I think it would be irresponsible of us not to say that we think the drinking is going to hurt you, and we're worried, and we want to help. Sonia says, okay. Luann, so what happened last night? Because I got arrested for much less. And Sonia's like, guys, what she just said, meaning Leah, I heard. Let me just answer that. So Sonia said, at home, I don't have alcohol. I mean, I have it. I have people come over and I offer it, but I never drink alone. I don't drink at home. I don't drink on dates. I don't go out and socialize like that. I just don't. Ramona isn't buying that Sonia is basically saying she only drinks like that around them. She says Luann is only saying something because she's not drinking right now. And Leah goes, well, listen, if you're going to drink, I at least want you to have a good time. Sonia says it's just because Bershan got in her face and that she wanted to show her that she wasn't a doormat. Leah goes, okay, just don't feel like you can't come to us or that this isn't an open channel of communication. Sonia, oh, I have open channels with professionals that I speak to all the time. Oh, well, all right. Meanwhile, Bershan tells Ebony, I think Sonia's going through a lot. Cut back to Sonia. I do telemedicine. Ramona, this is coming from love. We just love you. Sonia, I'm good. Leah goes, okay. In her confessional, Leah's like, we tried. Sonia said, I'm in a safe place with you guys, which doesn't feel very safe because you're being very judgmental right now. And they're all like, we're not judging you. You got into a physical fight with her last night. Sonia, and I'll do it again. Okay, that's what we want to hear. Ramona, you cut glass. You could have slit your wrist. Luann, let's go have a seance. Okay. Well, I guess we're done with that. So much for the intervention. Okay, so now we are introduced to Michael and Marion, the psychic mediums. I've never really fallen on the side of the ghost or the spirit before, but with these ladies, I feel very protective of the ghosts. Do you think the ghost from Ramona's room is still going to be playfully tugging on people's toes when they sleep anytime soon? Not with poop on the bathroom floor. They're probably going to be like, hee hee hee. Oh. I mean, truthfully, that might be just the push they need to finally move on to the other side. Oh, I missed seeing Sandra. She's our seance host. She's just going to raise the vibration in the room real quick and ask the ladies to take deep breaths and let go of all the negativity of the day. Oh, sweet Sandy. That is a big ask with this bunch. Okay, so Marion is a very soft-spoken British woman. She says, divine spirits, teachers, loved ones, those who have crossed over before us, come through and bring forth those who have passed away. Then there is a loud crash. Everyone shrieks. Ramona, what the fuck was that? Oh, God. So the light came off the ceiling, and Michael, the other medium, said, yeah, I saw that earlier during the meditation. You saw what now? What did you see? Was it loose? I mean, you might have mentioned it. Sonia, oh, that happens. Michael goes, you guys are all safe. It's protected. From a light fixture crashing down on their heads? Are they protected from that, Michael? A light fixture that you apparently saw earlier during the meditation. If you see something, say something, Michael. All right, so Michael starts by saying to Bershan, I'm getting a grandfather. She's like, okay. And he said, you know those mountain goats that are standing on ledges? Bershan looks like she's either never seen mountain goats standing on ledges or she's just wondering, like, where's this going? Michael continues. Okay. He goes, you wonder, like, how the hell did they climb that high? Now Luann's face is like, what the fuck? Also, Michael, you're supposed to talk with a spooky voice. Marion knows. He's just very conversational. He goes, right now people just fear you as, like, a regular goat. But eventually you're going to show them. It's time to come out of your shell and show them what you've actually got. Okay, no offense. Is Michael a medium in training? Is that what's happening here? Because that was terrible. There's so much to unpack here. Number one, no one is afraid of regular goats. They're adorable. Number two, is he saying Bershan is a mountain goat? Number three, does Michael think goats lay eggs? Number four, is Bershan's grandfather the one who's using all these mixed metaphors, or is that all Michael? 5, does he think Bershan's ultimate goal is to have people fear her, like more than they do now? Because right now, people fear you like a regular goat. But, you know, you're going to show them you're a mountain goat or something. Number 6, is Michael afraid of goats? Is that really what this is about? Are we, like, uncovering something personal about Michael's childhood? Was he bitten by a goat? Oh, boy. Now Michael wants to go to Luann. May I come to you with a message, he says to Luann. Side note, if it were me, and Michael said, Jill, may I come to you with a message? I would say, can I have Marion? Anyway, Luann is a bigger person than I am, and she said, sure. Michael. Okay, so I feel like I'm getting an uncle-type figure. It doesn't necessarily have to be an uncle. So do you have that in your life? An uncle-type figure? Luann. Not specifically, no. Michael. You guys, I'm not kidding about this part. He goes, so anyway, let me give you the message. Okay. He is so bad at this. In her confessional, Luann goes, well, someone forgot to eat their Wheaties this morning because he is way off. But keep him coming, Luann. So anyway, this message that Michael was getting from an uncle figure, is it just now coming from no one then? Since she doesn't have an uncle figure? Maybe it's coming from Bershan's grandpa. Did we check into that? Are you still channeling him, Michael? Here's what he says. It feels like there's a male in your life who's kind of like moody, I guess. Is it you, Michael? He goes on. And it feels like you guys are going to go your own ways. For you, it's more positive. Oh, so it is you, Michael. Then he says it's more of a lost friend. How is that positive, Michael? Leah, get your money back. This is horrendous. Oh, Leah just hit the jackpot because Marion said, "Can I come to you, Leah?" I'd be like, "Yes, please." She's like, "Hi, Leah. May I come to you, please?" Marion has a woman coming forth. This woman is not very spiritual, nor does she believe in the kind of thing that they're doing right there, this seance. "But I also feel like you're studying for something, or you're reading. It looks like you're studying or converting to something like Judaism." Well, Leah is blown away by this. Thank God for Marion. I'm sure you've been given information from the production crew or whatever about Leah and her grandmother and that she's converting to Judaism and all that. But at least it wasn't about scary goats and moody friends. Do you think the little bug in Michael's ear was trying to tell him to say to Bershan that people fear her like a regular ghost? And he misheard it and said goat? People fear you like a regular goat. But really, she's a ghost who can climb mountains. She's a mountain ghost. Maybe. Okay, Ebony lucked out because Marion is also doing her. She sees Ebony's grandmother standing behind her. Marion says she likes her because she's got a little bit of an attitude. It is sweet, though, because she tells Ebony that this lady is very proud of her, and she feels like she has a very strong message, particularly for women, that she must keep going forward with. And oh, does that make Ebony cry. She's just thanking Marion so much, and that was a good one. It wasn't about goats. Okay, so Marion also goes to Sonia. Sonia's father is coming through, and he says that there's a lot of unfinished business and that he wants to apologize to her. He wants her to know that he didn't know what he was doing. Okay, now this one got my attention. Marion asks if he had a drinking problem, and Sonia said yes. In Luann's confessional, she said, "I never knew that. Sonia never told us her father had a drinking problem. My father did, and that could be part of her problem because it's hereditary." Side note, do you think that Luann at this point is wondering why her father didn't come through? And instead, she just got an uncle figure who told her that she would happily part ways with her moody friend. Marion, the message from your father is that he's mortified by what he's done. But he's not trying to excuse it. He's trying to apologize to you. Ramona never heard about Sonia's dad either. So Marion is on fire, you guys. I hope Michael's taking notes. Marion, did your father leave when you were very young? And Sonia said, yes, I was 2 years old. Marion, and you have abandonment issues, and it's affected your relationships with men. Sonia is bawling her eyes out. She's nodding. Yes, 1,000 times yes. No, it is emotional. Marion said the root of those issues lie in that stuff. And I don't know how you've dealt with it. Sonia, I've met with a healer, and Marion cuts her off. Yes, that's a great addition, but there's a feeling of needing some therapy or counseling. So this woman is a medium, and even she's saying, no, sweetie, you need a real doctor. It's great that you have a healer, but you need something more. Maybe goat yoga. Huh, Michael? You want to join her? Maybe face your fears head on? Maybe Bershan could climb on your back. Sonia says she just started with a therapist, but they haven't talked about her dad yet. Oh, damn, Marion. She's like, well, you will, because that's the root of all your problems. She said, I hope the psychologist has a PhD, because you need someone who's got a little bit more. Yeah. Oh, you know your problems are bad when you've got a medium telling you no healers or anything. You need a full-on doctor with like 12 years of schooling under his belt. Well, I am drained after that one. But not Marion. Moves right on to Ramona. Ramona, let me see if I can tune into you. There is a man coming through. He's slightly younger. Sonia, unfinished business. Marion, don't give me any clues, please. She knows how good she is. Marion earned that sass. She said, this is a cousin or a brother. Because of the depth of emotion, it feels like it might be a brother. Ramona just nods her head. Marion says he had a lot of issues. Marion said it didn't feel like a suicide, but that he was self-destructive. And Marion's like, she's, getting these. And she goes, how recent was this? Like a week or so ago? And Ramona said, no, 2 years. Marion, 2 years? That was the most emotion out of Marion. Oh, he's still very... And Ramona goes, he's lost. He's a lost soul. And Marion said, that's a very good way of putting it, yes. He was lost in life as well. It's just, he's just very confused. So anyway, Marion, this one isn't like fun, and it isn't even satisfying in the way that I would say Sonia's was satisfying because her father finally really wanted to apologize to her. This is Ramona's younger brother. Marion is telling her that he's okay with being gone. He is sorry for hurting her. Ramona said that he always lived on the edge and that he almost died 10,000 times before he actually did die. Marion said, you see, he actually wanted to die. So it's like, oh, that is painful. She said he was in a lot of emotional pain. She said that he wanted Ramona to know that he loved her and that he knows that she tried to help him. Okay, this is horrible. Honestly, it's too sad. Ramona says she tried to help him several times, and she couldn't. She couldn't fix him, and it was so painful to watch. So she says she abandoned him, but, she stopped trying, and I understand that. Ramona says she pushed him away. Marion said, I know you did, but it's okay. You're blaming yourself, but it's not your fault. She just said, it's too big of a burden for you to carry. What's so sad about that one was that it sounds like even in death, he's still lost and unsettled. And oh my gosh, that's hard to hear. If I had a brother who struggled through life and then 2 years after his death, his spirit is still unsettled, that would be hard to hear. That's rough. And I say all this not totally believing in all this myself either. I'm kind of like Leah. I'm extremely skeptical. I wholeheartedly believe that there are more shady people out there trying to scam somebody out of money than people with real psychic abilities. And I do believe there are people who have those abilities. I do think there are some things that are unexplained in any other way other than they're getting a feeling or a premonition. So while I believe in that, I'm just so skeptical of the seance kind of thing, Anyway, Marion asks if anybody has any other questions, and everyone said no, and they thanked her. Although I was waiting for Bershan to say, why did I have to be a mountain ghost? Yeah, she and Luann really got the short end of that stick. Anyway, they all go into the other room to have dinner, and there's the tables right by a fireplace. So Leah gets up to put a log on the fire, and Ebony goes, Leah, why do you have your dress on backwards? And Leah looks down and she goes, oh, my dress is on backwards. It was. There's a little gold chain that was in the back, a zipper up the front. Anyway, that was it. That was a great episode. I really, that was kind of like old RHONY for me. I hope that they can find their way back to stuff like we just saw, because that was fun, Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me. If you liked this recap, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you would like to be notified every time I post a video, please click on the bell icon for those notifications. All right, thanks so much. I will see you next week for the next episode of The Real Housewives of New York City. That's it for now. I love you guys. Bye.